Okay. Is it recording? I think it is. Okay. This is a tough video to make. Here, let me take these off. Ugh. Yeah, this is a tough video to make, mainly because I don't really know what to say. I don't know what to say. Um, but yeah, I don't know. All goofs and gaffs aside, it's I don't really know. Again, I don't know how to word this. I didn't really plan this. It's unscripted is all get out. But obviously this ain't no podcast, so I don't expect it to be long. I guess segue. It's about the podcast. I really don't know what I'm going to be calling this video, so I don't know if maybe you already know because you read the title or not. Depends on what I decide to call it, but yeah, I'm not really going to be doing the podcast anymore, or at least it's going on an indefinite hiatus. Which, for those who don't know what those words mean, it just means I'm not going to be doing it anymore for as long as I decide. It's I don't know. It's a hard decision that I was just mainly thinking about this week specifically, especially where I'm like, I don't know. I've missed a few podcast dates. It's starting to become a bit chory. And as much as I love at least having some guaranteed upload, um, you know, for every single week, especially because it's not something that is like too crazy intensive. It's also something that makes me go, yeah, I don't know. I don't like doing this, or at least like it sucks. Oh, my job is so hard as YouTuber. Oh no, but like in all seriousness, I just every single week I just seem to forget or postpone something like that, and I think that's because it's starting to become very chore like. And I mean, again, I don't know if I've stated this before, but like I'm doing this for fun. I'm doing this because I like doing it. I mean, you probably already see the way I brand some of this stuff. It's the slop channel. I call this the slop channel because it's meant to be easy, not very difficult content to make. But it's I think when it's that easy to make, or at least like it's very simple and easy to pump out. And even then, I've had editing mistakes and things that happen, which is natural. But it's like I don't know, it sucks. Because sometimes I want things to be as chill and laid back as they can be, at least when it comes to recording the podcast. But I don't really have all the stuff I feel like is required to make that a super simple process for me. So yeah, I don't know. It just ends up feeling really. End up feeling really bad, especially because again, the first couple episodes until really recently, I didn't really have a guest on. I had my good friend on, uh, but it's like I really hit a low point. I think with episode 4, where it was just a terrible episode. I recorded it really late. I just felt like I needed to get it out uh, before the I guess deadline in my case, and it was just terribly rushed. I mean, again, I switched games multiple times in that upload because I don't know, it was terrible. It's really bad. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't want to have things like that happen again. I swore to it in the description, and I mean it. I really don't want to do terrible content. I mean, I get it. I know I kind of joke by calling my own content slop, but like it's really just because it's very easy to get out. Like I'll just be honest. I'll just kind of lay out my feelings since that's kind of what I'm doing already. Uh, if you've discovered me through here, I have a main channel. There's like really not any videos on it. Although I think yeah, like at this point, most of them are really just like animation tests and like smaller animation bits. I mean, I've alluded to this before on the podcast, but I want to release a bit of a little project of my own at some point. And I mean, I don't know, it's developing fine. It's really just more of like doing the brunt of the work and stuff, but I've also just been very unmotivated to do that kind of stuff because getting even more personal. I haven't found a job yet. I feel like a damn chud just sitting around in my room all day doing a whole lot of nothing, which, some people wish they had that like amount of time to like do what they have to do. But in my case, it's more of like, I no one's forcing me to do a YouTube channel. It's not my monetary income. It's not like my job in any way, shape, or form. I don't really owe you as the audience anything because I barely have an audience. I'm not expecting people to see this. Like not even a little bit. And now I didn't really go into YouTube with high hopes. I just kind of want to do this for fun. And if I can become a larger creator, just in any sense of the word, like I got plans, I got ideas, I got things that I would love to do as a larger creator. And a huge part of that, I think, at least for me, is obviously just not just stepping up my own like bar of quality, even for slop uploads, but also like just I don't know. I wish I could like talk about them because they make me really excited, but I don't want to necessarily spoil the surprise or surprises, I guess rather, that I have in store if I were to ever become a larger creator on this platform. I mean, I probably chose the worst time to do it, honestly. That's not to say that like I don't know. Anytime I think recently would have been a good time, but in this case, it's like I feel like YouTube as a platform as at this point, I'm pretty sure has existed for about, if not a little bit over 20 years. I could be wrong. No, I'm not wrong. Never mind. I thought about it. I'm not wrong. Yeah, no, this platform has existed for over 20 years. And technically it is older than me. I'm almost 20 years. So it's a bit to say that YouTube is my life is a bit of an understatement. Even it's like it is everything to me. And again, this isn't like a quitting video. Again, don't get this twisted. This is mainly about the podcast. I'm not doing the podcast anymore. Again, indefinite hiatus. But again, now that I got you here, now that you're like listening, let me just lay out a few of my feelings about how I feel about this and why I canceled it. Which again, it's mainly because of that like weird little responsibility that I feel like I have to put on myself, which I don't know, it kind of sucks. And again, if I don't work hard, I'm not going to make it. But I hate that most of the uploads on this channel are podcast uploads. Like I look on there and it's like there's just podcasts back to back to back, and this is not a podcasting YouTube channel. That is not what I intended for this to be. But when I first decided to play Revolution Idol, I'm like, this isn't really interesting gameplay to look at. So like, why don't I just turn it into a podcast and make a really long upload, right? The people love long uploads. They love long uploads to watch in the background, to play, to go to sleep. Except, especially for the first couple of episodes, my audio quality sucks. So it's like, there's no way you're sleeping to that. There's no way. There's no way you're sleeping to that. So, yeah, it's it's something that is just taken over this channel. And I don't know. I don't want to do that really, or I don't want to do that to the channel. I don't want to give the impression that this is all that I do. And that's all that I can be expected to put out. Like, I don't want to feel like a quote unquote regular video is like a once in a lifetime thing because I actually bothered to sit down and edit it. Obviously, if I do slow things down, I'm not necessarily on pace to become the next big YouTube channel. I'm not going to be Mr. Beast at this rate, but it's like, I don't even freaking care, dude. I don't care. I just don't. I'm doing this stuff because I think it's fun. And right now, if I'm feeling like doing the podcast every week is starting to become not fun, then that's not what I'm going to do. I just, again, I don't want to, I think here's another big part of it. I don't want to force my friend to come on every single week because he's got his own busy schedule. He's busy doing his own things. We live two, I would say, very different lives. And even just initially, it was kind of hard to get him on. Not because he didn't want to, but more because of, scheduling conflicts. And I say that like we're two really big famous people, but I mean it. Sometimes That's just the way life is, and it's hard to even just get your friends on to do content, which stinks, you know. But like that's also just how life is, you know. People have their own stuff to do, they have their own responsibilities to take care of, and like, you know, I can't force it, and I don't want to force it really, you know. Like here, I'll just tell a little bit of an anecdote. Like ever since I was a kid, I've been wanting to do this, which I mean that's probably to the surprise and shock of nobody, because it's like a super common dream at this point. But like when I mean it, I mean it. Like there was a career day at school, I'm pretty sure, or like some kind of like what are they called again? Like I don't, like incentive days. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And one of the themes of it was like dress up as the job you want to be in the future. And like, you know, I think everyone for the most part, I think, chose a lot of normal topics, a lot of normal jobs to choose to be in the future, where it's like, I want to be this, I want to be that. And you know what I freaking dressed up as? I dressed up as a YouTuber, bro. I bought my headphones. I wore a custom made YouTube shirt. You know, shout out to my mom, dude. She made so many custom like little costumes and crap for me, like on Halloween or in days like that, where it's like we didn't have like you know, there wasn't really a YouTube shirt that existed, you know, to wear, and it's kind of hard to represent that platform, or at least like show what you're trying to be without it literally being on your chest and like very obvious. So like the custom YouTube shirt, I don't know, it meant a whole lot to me, you know, not just what she did, but also like, again, being a YouTuber, like that's what I wanted to be. And obviously at the time I was still kind of going through, I don't want to say an identity crisis, but like at least when it came to being a YouTuber, I didn't really know what kind of YouTuber I wanted to be. Like I knew I liked plush content back in the day. I grew up a lot of plush content. Shout out to the goats who grew up on SML, Cute Mario Bros, Super Dent Bros. Anybody? But like, yeah, them and a bunch of other creators. Like, I mean, I gotta shout out Luigi Fan. Like, you know, that's the goat right there. Even though I didn't watch him as much as a lot of other creators, but still, I was aware of him and I watched some of his stuff. Anyways, but it, you know, I went through kind of that phase of wanting to be like a plush tuber, but then I don't want to say I necessarily grew out of it, but like there was they definitely came to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that for I guess maybe a living, but I don't even know if I would make a living, which is definitely part of like why I reconsidered, where I'm like, I don't know if flush content is as successful as it once was anymore, where I could get away with that, or where I could do that, you know, for just basically the rest of my life. Excuse me. But you know, so then I reconsidered into gaming, which is obviously technically what I do here. But like, I don't know. Again, I think the Let's Plays also died, especially with the way that I knew it back then. So it, you know, there's definitely no chance of me at least at this point to become the next Markiplier, and I definitely don't expect to be. I do not really, I don't want to say care for that, because I mean, imagine your job being you just freaking play whatever video game, you're like producer or whatever, like your friend or editor tells you to play, and then you play it, and then your video goes off to be edited. Like that's all you have to do every single day, is just record your Let's Play of it, your thoughts and stuff, and the people will be there to watch. That sounds awesome. And well, in some ways I do kind of want that. I mean, again, I don't necessarily want to be the next Markiplier. I don't really need to be the next Markiplier, in my opinion, especially because, you know, again, I don't want to be a gaming channel, or at least like I don't like, that's not my end goal on YouTube. Like, again, I'm mainly doing the slop stuff because it is the easiest stuff to produce, and I think it's a very easy gateway into main channel stuff, which I mean, I haven't really discussed a whole lot of main channel stuff outside of the, you know, the little animated project that I want to do. But I also just have like main channel videos and ideas in mind. I have technically like quite a few in production, and there's just even just other smaller ideas lingering in here. And even just the very first video that I have planned for the channel, like a main channel, a lot more, I guess, higher effort style video, like that is coming eventually. But again, I kind of need to refine that motivation again to work on it, to do it again, and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky for me. Again, just to get a little bit personal, but please don't be weird about it or anything. Especially in the future, if I do become popular, you don't know me. You don't. So don't bother trying to get all weird about it. But I hope that maybe for some this is at least relatable. I'm trying to be personable, not parasocial. But yeah, it's like, sometimes I look at myself, you know, and mainly kind of compare myself to other content creators on this platform, and which I know is not a good thing to do, but like, I don't know. I look at them sometimes and I'm like, I don't know. You're just kind of like meant for this almost. I don't know. Like sometimes I feel to myself, am I cringe? Am I cringe? Am I freaking, am I not doing this right? And I mean, that's not even to say because it's like, oh, I haven't blown up yet. Like I've been doing this for probably, I mean, I guess since the beginning of last year, really going into this year, but I guess I didn't really start uploading, I think, on the live channel anyway, until around, what was it at this point? Like April, I think, April or May. I do not recall. But like of course I haven't made it yet. Like again, that's one of the main reasons why I said I chose like a really terrible time to do this, because at this point in time, especially 2020s onward, it's just harder to stand out on this platform. And I feel like I'm most certainly lost in the wave of other styles of content. That doesn't mean that no one's ever seen this stuff, because I've definitely gotten some views. I just definitely don't feel like the people have stuck around because my guess anyway is probably that they looked on the channel to see what other kinds of videos I made, and since it's mostly podcast stuff, it's like unless they want to subscribe to a new podcast, like most people look at that and go, there's not really a good variety of content on here. Like some people might think my channel is a little bit funny, silly, goofy. Like sometimes I guess dredge up or like find some really obscure niche YouTube channels that are recommended to me, and I love looking into them because it's just fun to see what the little guys are doing. But then you also have to remember that I'm also a little guy, and that people probably treat me the exact same way I treat those two channels, which it's, I don't know, it's a bit weird, and obviously I probably shouldn't compare myself to the biggest of the biggest, or even just like people who are way more popular than me in like just, I guess, a relative sense. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, I will say this for any other inspiring creators out there who are just like me trying to do this. I think this is a heavy luck game. It's always kind of been a heavy luck game, but in this case, it's like, especially now, in this sort of like post, I mean, I guess I don't even know what I call it, but it is almost certainly the present when it comes to this stuff. I mean, we have all this AI garbage that tons of people just watch without like really confirming what it is first. And sorry, excuse me. Like, and people just don't like seem to care even about like the ethical repercussions of like AI and stuff. And like I already mentioned before, even without that, you're just like, unless you do something that really stands out and like gets you just pushed into everyone's algorithm because the algorithm gods have blessed you to this day, then you're just kind of lost in that huge wave of content that gets uploaded to the site literally every single day, and no one knows that you exist, which it's not like I want to be super well known anyways. I mean, I think, as I've talked about before, which hopefully it's reaching the right audience here, but like if you saw what happened to Digital Circus and specifically Gooseworks, it's like I would never wish anyone into that kind of position of being on like the figurehead, or being that like creator responsible for like one of the most annoying fan bases ever, which isn't even necessarily your fault. You just wanted to make a show, or like, just a cool, awesome cartoon for the people to see. And instead, now you're just left with like terrible, terrible, awful people who like literally hate your guts over freaking cartoon characters, which is, I just think it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And again, I would never want to be in that position, as much as I quote unquote want fame, which is not even necessarily why I do this. but it's like, as much as I want to, I guess, be exposed to an audience and have that kind of, you know, audience and person, whatever the hell I'd be called in this scenario, sort of connection, I guess audience to creator, I don't know, whatever. Again, not relevant, names aren't relevant right now, but like, as much as I want that, it's still something that, you know, is always going to be weary. There's always going to be bad apples. There's always going to be, you know, maybe people who do be parasocial, even if I literally specifically ask them not to be. It's destined to happen. I'm fully expecting it if I do become even just relatively larger. Like, I fully expect there to be a few bad apples. It's just like, it's just fate. You can't really avoid that, especially if you do become big enough to just kind of have a giant cesspool of people who could be literally anyone. They could be anyone behind that Twitter profile, behind that username. And yeah, I don't know. Geez, I've done the tangent thing again. I don't remember what the hell I was talking about initially. I think it was the cancellation of the podcast. I don't know, relate to anything. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. But I think it is nice to rant. I mean, I think that's one of the main reasons I started the podcast, but it definitely doesn't get as ranty as talks like this, where I'm just kind of yapping, you know. And in this case, I don't even necessarily have a subject. I'm just kind of going off the dome. Which, not to say that I'm not going off the dome for the podcast, but I think there's a difference between trying to hold your audience's attention and just kind of saying stuff for the sake of saying stuff, you know. That's also, I think, why, again, it's just not very good at all. I mean, you go into it and you kind of like expect a podcast or something, and then it's just a dude talking to himself. And there's like so much dead air because, you know, I am the way that I am. So, you know, sometimes I'll just forget what I was talking about, or I don't know what to say next. So there's just a lot of dead air, you know, which maybe could be filled with someone else talking or something. So yeah, I don't know. But I mean, listen to this. If you want to do this as a whole, I mean, first of all, I'd probably say just don't. Like, I mean, trust me, I've learned this lesson from many creators, and you know, just just generally, like, if you want to do this, you gotta really be committed to it, which is unfortunately me, because I've put myself in this weird position where I feel like I don't really want to do anything else, or at least like nothing would fulfill me more in this world, in my life, than to not just do content creation, but to also amass that larger audience. To I don't know if I love using the word expose here, but like, you know, just exposing people to these cool things that I want to do, especially on the main channel, but also even just on here. I don't want this channel to suffer from quality. I mean, that's why, like, I guess what you could call main uploads, or just uploads outside of like the podcast stuff, have been so slow. Like that Game Over's reaction video, like, I put so much effort into making a lot of those edits and to like creating them the way that I did. You know, like I joked in that video that it took me like 20 years to do like the simplest, goofiest meme edit ever. But it's like, again, I love that part of it, you know. I love that part of making videos, like just learning new crap, you know. Like even with the very first upload on this channel, like doing the motion tracking stuff, which I had to do a little bit of Googling for and stuff like that. Like, that is one of my favorite parts of doing this, is just learning new crap to apply later, or to do it again at some point. It's like, now I know how to do it. And technically the motion tracking crap didn't even work later in the video. I don't really know why, but that doesn't matter to me. You know, it's like, maybe I never figured out why, but it's like, now I know how to motion track. You know, I might have to re-Google it just to re-get it inside of my brain. But it's like, I did that before. I could probably just do it again, even just from general memory. And, you know, I love putting all these goofy, silly clips together. It's so much fun. It really is. So I don't know. I want to do that more, and I want to upload on this channel, I guess technically more going forward, but it's also more of like a, I'd rather take space in between my uploads to actually make them a little bit better. And by that, I mean, hey, this isn't only a sad little cancellation video, if there was anyone who actually cared about my podcast at all, but this is the announcement of something new. I also want to do something a little bit new, and it's more conceptual. I don't really have it like fully planned out, I guess, but I want to do a Let's Play series, or Let's Plays series, I guess, plural. I want to do Let's Play series, plural. And I want to call it Let's Play Together. Like it's very just based on Let's Plays back in the day, but it's just kind of like, I guess, a show in quotation marks. It's more of, again, like a Let's Play series, or like not but I want to do Let's Play series that are more reminiscent of older YouTube. I don't know, I just have a very close fascination or fixation, maybe that's the better word there, with like older YouTube content. And like, even though I know it probably won't do well, I'm not expecting it to, I just want to do something that obviously just feels reminiscent of when content used to be, in my opinion, a lot more genuine. Not necessarily better, but just genuine. I miss that very genuine nature of a lot of older content. Like nowadays, I feel like you gotta do crazy edits, you gotta do all these silly things to hold people's attention, which is like even kind of what I tried to do on my first upload. Like I did a whole subtitles thing, and I was gonna subtitle the whole video instead of just like key or funny parts of the video, but just like seeing how long it took, it was just like, that is not worth the effort, especially because I'm not even that good of an editor. It is not worth the effort. I just want to get this out. So again, these are going to be pretty mostly unedited videos of just me playing video games. Like that's really just what I want to do, at least on this channel going forward. Like, I mean, there's one thing to play games, like like idle games, and obviously turning that kind of into a podcast kind of situation. I think that's fun enough as a gimmick, especially even just having my own little indie animation segment. But I think, again, if once I eventually maybe come back to doing the podcasts, I want to maybe have some consistent people on, or like some people who will consistently be on, which I mean it could include my friend. I don't know if there's anyone who's a big fan of my friend, but like, if he wants to consistently be on again, I want to make sure that it's very much his choice, and I don't want to make him feel forced that he like has to do it or anything. I mean, he's expressed multiple times that he's fine with doing it. I just, obviously, again, I don't want to force that onto him. I don't want to feel like he needs to be there because of the YouTube views, or because, now this is like his new secondary job. He has to show up every week. I don't want to force it upon him. So it's like, if I ever make maybe some content creation buddies, maybe get them on there, come up with new segments, new bits and things to do or something, because I, especially with these first couple of episodes of just me being by myself, it's terribly lonely. I think it just generally, as content, sucks. I don't think it's very good. And I don't know, again, I want an excuse to up the bar, even if it's like, again, I acknowledge and I call this the slop channel, but I don't want it to genuinely feel like slop or brain rot or just something that isn't very good. I want to make stuff that's obviously easy to consume, but also like, like well made slop, well made, easy to consume slop. Like it's something that you can put on because what you're going into, what to expect, and it's also maybe not super edit crazy or anything, like there might be some, it doesn't mean I don't want to just not do that going forward, especially because, again, sometimes doing some silly goofy edits is like what challenges me the most in the upload, outside of probably just cutting things down. That's more annoying than anything. But again, going forward, if I'm going to do the podcast, right, because it's canceled indefinitely, but if and when I bring it back, it is going to look a lot better. At least I want it to feel a lot better. I don't want to just make it all or do it all willy-nilly. I think it was fun to mess around with this, do it for the first time, have that not just consistent upload schedule, but also just like, doing it consistently, but I think there comes a time when I just kind of have to cut it off and be like, no more of this. I'm not having fun with this, and I want to move on creatively, and just do something different. And in this case, for me, it's technically something even lazier. But I do just want to be, or rather, like, make stuff that's reminiscent of older YouTube. I didn't think I'd be saying it here, but you know, I remember when YouTube had the slogan "Broadcast yourself." I really don't feel like that's what YouTube is or stands for anymore, and that's a shame. That really is a shame, because I don't know. Remember when remember when this freaking platform actually kind of meant that, or at least like it felt that way? So many people just made stuff for the sake of making stuff because they could, and there was this new wacky platform where you could just upload essentially whatever you wanted. It felt very freeing, very liberating, and it got a lot of people their audiences that they have today, their followings that they do. I mean, even just think of some of the most influential or just popular creators, not even just of necessarily today, but just in general. It's like they would never have had or have their audience. I guess actually maybe just had. They would have never had their audience if like they never started uploading, if they never started creating stuff and putting it on, especially this platform. I mean, that's not to say that there weren't platforms before where you could have gained a following, but YouTube definitely just kind of flipped things on its head. It became so mainstream. And, I mean, we're here now where like YouTubers can make and direct films, and like, there's entire, little indie studios developing on here, and mainly, like, putting out their content on this stuff. I mean, even some of the bigger channels you can think of. I think some of the ones that come to mind are like, like Smosh or Theorist, or like all the Theorist channels. Just to clarify a little bit, where it's like those are technically like larger. I guess I don't necessarily want to call them corporations, but like those are technically, like actual like companies who have hired people and like run maybe multiple YouTube channels, or even just like a big organized one, and it's still like I don't know, it's impressive. Again, if YouTube never became mainstream, if these people never just started uploading, these people would have never had a job, or at least they'd be all very separate and doing entirely different things. So I don't know. I guess mainly what I'm trying to get at here is that I want the people to put the you back in YouTube. And that's kind of what I've always just been trying to do with this style, or this, I guess, form of content. I just want to friggin' make stuff for the sake of making it, and not feel like I need to abide to an algorithm. I mean, it sucks because, especially even for the Slop channel, I kind of have to, at least if I want to make this channel successful. And I mean, that's not to say that I won't try and learn a lot of the stuff. I think the more that I've watched YouTube, the more that I sit down and really think about what makes me either want to click on a video, the kinds of titles that I see, and all that stuff, etc. It makes me realize that it's like, okay, there might be certain types of content that I do in the future, and there might be certain kinds of editing styles that I continue to adopt, and things like that. We're gonna see. It's all a learning process, but like I said, Let's Play Together is called that because I just want to play games, not necessarily with anyone, but just, with, I guess, you, the audience. I want to show my experience and just kind of have like a fun, again, kind of like creator to audience relationship, and be able to put out my content, feel like you're enjoying yourself because maybe I'm a silly goofy guy, or like if I do have someone on or whatever, it's casual, it's chill, maybe we talk and have conversations and all these other things. Like, I don't want to make it this whole thing. I don't want to make it feel like there's a huge schedule, that there's a huge responsibility behind all of this stuff. I just want to make stuff because it's fun. And I really feel like a lot of YouTubers, even in current day, could learn to put that advice to good use. I mean, again, for many people, it's their job, so I understand why they have to do specific kinds of content, do specific kind of thumbnails, uh, and titles, and all these other things. But I don't know. It pains me that YouTube has become a numbers game, um, rather than just like a place where you could, I don't know, per se, broadcast yourself, show the world who you are. Tube. So, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's the end of that. I don't know how long this is, but it probably went way longer than I probably wanted it to. Because my idea of how long this is probably going to be, or how long I wanted it necessarily to be, was like 5 minutes. Then I'm like, I don't really got that much to talk about. This is probably like over 10 minutes. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm the yapper dude, and I mean it wholeheartedly. So I don't know if you're still listening, whoever you may be. I guess like and subscribe. Shameless plug. Follow the medias if you care at all, but I don't know. None of that stuff is really important to me. So, I think at bare minimum, just give this video a like, and who knows? Maybe you'll be hearing from me in the distant future, because I made it. I don't know. But, I mean, that's all I have to say. So, I hope you can find my reasons understandable. And goodbye.